Hello everyone. In the last session, we have seen that how the lexical analyzer is going to work. That is, what are the tasks of lexical analyzer? It reads the input and it divides that input into a number of tokens. And along with this, it also eliminate the white spaces and it also removes the comment lines. Now, the important thing here is that before recognizing the tokens, how can we improve the uh, speed of accessing the input, that is reading the input? So that can be done with the help of a technique called as input buffering. So in this session, I am going to explain you what is that input buffering, how it's going to work. Now, for an lexical analyzer, before realizing that it is a particular token, it is very important to speed up the reading process, because here, as we have seen, that lexical analyzer is going to read input character by character. Suppose if it reads a character by character, then it's going to consume lot of time. Every time you have to call the input device to get a one character, and then again it should be given to a lexical analyzer, again recall. See, this will consume lot of time. So how can we speed up this process? So the first thing is that the you have to speed up the source program reading. It means that instead of reading one character, you have to read the number of characters at a time. That is the first thing. And here, whenever you are going to realize that it is a particular lexeme, you have to check for more than one character. See, if I consider an example of an identifier, it does not mean that the identifier is only a single character. The identifier is, it should be minimum one character, but that it may followed by a letter or digit, isn't it? So here it is very important to read, or you have to very important to look more than one or more character beyond you are going to consider it as a token. See now, why you have to look ahead characters? It means that already your lexical analyzer is going to recognize that it is a particular lexeme. Is it still required to look ahead some characters? Yes, you have to look ahead one or more characters to finally you are concluding that it is a particular token. The first thing is that you have to look beyond the characters, means you have to look ahead characters. It is, you have to ensure that you have properly recognized a respective token. That is, each, as I told that, for an identifier recognition itself, what it is, assume that you have read a character, something called it as an I. Then after that, you your lexical analyzer should not conclude by reading only I that it is an identifier. What happens in C programming language, after reading I, there could be an AF, and after that there could be an opening parenthesis. See, if this is the case, then here if cannot be a identifier, it is a reserve word, it's a keyword. So that's what it has to do. Your lexical analyzer must look one or more characters ahead before concluding for a specific token. Okay. Another example you can take it here in C programming language itself. We have so many characters or so many operators, um, or existing in the C language. Consider that a single characters like minus or less than symbol or and equal. See, these are the specific operators. It means that minus performs an subtraction and less than symbol and then assignment statement you are going to use. But before concluding that these are the minus symbol, it has to look at least one character ahead or more than one character ahead. If I consider one character ahead, you can see that we can use a symbol called an pointer in structures, that is something in direction operators for an structure members, right? And even the less than symbol can be one more character, it could be less than or equal, or assignment statement that it could be, and here as we are mentioning here, it could be a uh, equality operator. If you want to check the whether two um, variables or two objects are equal, then you can check it with the equality operator. So that's what it is always essential to look one or more character ahead before realizing for a particular lexeme belongs to a token. So for that, in this case, in this thing, we are going to use a two buffer scheme. See why this two buffer scheme is? It means that this is an one technique which is used for look ahead characters, and these two buffer scheme handles a very huge what do you say string of characters, or you can say the input, a larger input, for that it is used. Okay, so now here um, the this buffering scheme, what it does is that it reduces the overhead. What do you mean by this? It means that if you don't have a buffer, you need to read character by character. In this process, it's going to consume a lot of time, and that can be reduced here. It means that you can store a specific length input in a buffer based on your architecture. What you can do is that you can create the buffers of a specific length. So this avoids reading a character by character. You can read n number of characters at a time and store it in a buffer. So now here we are going to use a technique called as buffer fair. This is, see, fair means it's a two buffers. What it does is that it's going to use two buffers, and if one buffer is ended, or it's if your input if you are if one input buffer is over to load your input, then you can use the another buffer. That's what it is. Whenever one buffer is filled, you can alternatively load the another buffer. So in this example, assume that we have taken the buffer sizes of 4096 byte. Okay, you can see just an example here. One sample input is taken here. It's a Fortran language input, that is E is equal to M into C raised to 2. Even you can observe that there is an end of file marker is also there. Okay, so in this case input is very short, that's what we have taken it as only one buffer. Now just see here how it works. See the buffers, the buffer pair is going to read n characters into the buffer instead of a single character. This is very important, hence it reduces the time. It means that it's going to read the entire input and stores it in a buffer, and if your input is unable to load into a one buffer, then automatically it loads the another buffer. So this is a great advantage in the lexic analyzer. The another thing you can understand here, whenever you are using this here, this EOF, here in this case, if your input is a very short, that is if it is a lesser size than your buffer size, then what you can do, to just to mark an end of the file, end of the input, you can use the keyword as EOF. Okay, so now here understand that the how it's going to process, means how these buffers are going to be used by the lexical analyzer. what it does is that it is going to use two pointers for the whatever input you have read. One is that the lexeme begin. So in the lexeme begin, what it does initially when it starts, whenever your lexical analyzer starts with identifying the your lexeme, one pointer it keeps at the beginning, that is lexeme begin. It marks the beginning of the current lexeme. Please understand here, it is not yet understood that it is a particular token, but it has started processing here. So now one pointer is kept at the beginning, and the other pointer, that is forward, it scans ahead until a particular pattern is matched. So now in this example, here lexeme begin is kept at here, in this case, uh, at the first star. Then it's going to process, there is another star it encounters, then again it looks another character. So now when it comes to an 2, then your lexicon analyzer has recognized that there is a something lexeme, that is star star, which is recognized. Now what it does is that your lexicon analyzer, it is going to retract left one character. Means the forward is pointing at 2, but your lexical analyzer, what it does, it's going to retract one character left side. So means it takes only star star and that lexeme. The recognized lexeme here is as star star. Once it gets the lexeme as star star, then it realizes that it is a token of an exponential symbol. So like that, every time the two pointers lexeme begin and forward are going to be worked. Now in this case, see, as I told that lexeme begin, when it starts, that particular, it has started the marking of the your lexemes, but it has not determined which type of token it is. But the when it moves to the forward further, then when it encounters 2 in this case, then it realizes that 2 is not a part of the two previous stars. Then it stops, and then it realizes what kind of pattern it is, and then that's a particular lexeme, and then it recognizes what type of token it is there. This is what how the buffer pairs are going to work. Now in this case, as I told again, as I told, two buffers are going to use just to handle your a large amount of input. If one buffer is over, then if your input is not yet completed, then it loads the another buffer. If your buffer, if your input is lesser than the your total size of the buffer, then it has to put, it indicates the end of the your input by using EOF. Now another thing what you can do, another thing what here it is, see, whenever we using this two buffer scheme, uh, as I mentioned that you have to, when you are using two buffers, and if your input is not able to store it in a one buffer, then you will be using alternatively another buffer. Now the important thing here is that, consider in this example, the two input buffers are taken together. I have shown here EOF with an underlined line. See here, this EOF is not a end of input. It is not a end of your input. This EOF is something an end marker to mark that it is an end of the that buffer. So hence what we can do, this we call it as an sentinels. So here it's an special character to mark end of that buffer input, end of the buffer EOF. So but this is not part of your input symbol. So now every time whenever you are reading whenever your lexical analyzer is reading your buffers, it is always going to perform two tests. One is that whether have you reached an end of the buffer, that is the buffer end test, and another is that whatever the character it has read, what type of character it has read. So your uh, lexical analyzer is going to always perform the two things. Okay, what is that character it has read, that is the first thing. Second thing is that whether it has reached to a end of the buffer. So these two things are going to be these two tests are going to be performed every time. So now please understand here, the sentinel is just an special mark to say that it is an end of the that file. Now consider in the here after reading the two EOF is there here. So in this case EOF, it is an a just end of an input. Okay, now just see then the look ahead code, that program, how it works. Whatever we have seen in the earlier slide, the same thing is given it in the form of a code. See here, if the case is your forward pointer is always going to read the next character. Okay, so now if it is EOF, means here assume that you are the first EOF which is appearing in this buffer, which is underlined also, first UIF. Okay, so now if it is there here, if UIF, then it checks whether the if forward is at the end of the first buffer. Okay, if it is end of the first buffer, you can see it here in the earlier case here, sorry, here two EOFs are given which are there underlined. Now we are checking that here in this code. Case EOF, if forward is at the end of the first buffer, I am talking about this EOF. Okay, so if forward is at the end of the first buffer, then you have to reload the second buffer. See here in this case, here if this EOF is there, then you have to reload the second buffer, and then your forward should begin at the second buffer. Means you have to assign your forward pointer to the beginning of the second pointer, that is for C. Now suppose if it is, you can just see here, forward is end of the your if it is forward is at the end of the first buffer, then reload the second buffer. Then you have to assign your forward pointer at the beginning of the second buffer here. Now suppose if it is not the first buffer, then you check whether it's a second buffer. If it is a second buffer, then you have to reload the first buffer. It means that you are always switching over between the buffers here, because we are using only two buffers. Then you have to reload the first buffer, then you have to assign the forward beginning of the first buffer. Now if it is not a end of the buffer, assume that here if it is something like this, it means that this is an end of the file. So in this case, check it here, else here this part EOF within a buffer marks at the end of the input, then you have to terminate the lexical analyzer. It means that you have, by this time you have realized, means your lexical analyzer has realized that what kind of token it is, then you have to terminate. Okay, if this is what how your look ahead is going to work. Okay, now here when you are using this input buffering, you can have some challenges here. What is that? It is, see, we have taken the buffer size as 4096 bytes. Suppose if it is greater than, if your any of the lexemes is greater than this size, how can we do this? That is the first challenge is, what if lexeme is longer than the buffer size? See, generally with this much size, this is enough, because normally you will not get any lexeme which is larger than 4096. But suppose if your buffer size is very small, and in that case, and if you are looking for lexemes which are larger than that, then it could be a difficult for an lexical analyzer to realize the tokens. So it means that your lexeme is divided into a number of lines. See, what we can do is that if it is divided into a number of lines, then we can concatenate them together, and then we can understand that what kind of lexeme it is. In case of an Java example, we have seen that already there is a plus operator is there, which will concatenate the strings. So that could be one solution to overcome the problem of if the lexeme is longer than the buffer size. The another problem is that what if keywords are not treated as a reserved words? It means that in C programming language we have a keyword called as if, else, while, do, int, float. See, these are already treated as a keywords, and this should not be used as an identifiers, or you should not use them for any other purpose. Now suppose in the example of PLI language, we use a declare to declare the identifiers, correct? But a programmer if use like this, that is for example declare arg1 arg2, means that these are the, here he is using a declare and as well as arg1 arg2. See, in PLI language you are allowed to use the reserved words as an identifier. That's what the user has written it here, declare arg1 and arg2. See, at this case your lexical analyzer is in a ambiguous state. It is unable to decide whether the declare is here keyword or it's a procedure call. So this kind of problems could be there in the case of an input buffer reading. So these are the some challenges which are with the input buffering. So in this session what I explained is that we have started with how we can increase the your lexical analyzer speed for only to read the input. Okay, for that what we did is that we use buffering techniques. So in this case whenever you are deciding that it is a particular lexeme, you have to always look ahead one or more characters, and that we understood the importance of looking the characters ahead. And then here we have seen in one technique called it as a buffer pair, that is two buffers you are going to use, and if one buffer is filled with an input then you can load the another buffer. And then we use here two pointers, that is lexeme begin and forward. Lexeme begin is always going to mark at the beginning of your lexeme, and then you have to process the, you have to move ahead the forward pointers until unless it matches for a particular pattern. And then we have seen the sentinels are going to used as an to mark at the end of the file, but these are not a part of the inputs. So every time it reads a character, it has to perform two tests. One is what type of that character, and the another one is what is that buffer, and tell me whether the it has reached to an end of the buffer. And then this is a simple code for that sentinels. And then finally we have seen some of the challenges that what are those, that is what if the lexeme size is longer than the buffer size, or what if the keywords are not treated as a reserved words. Okay, so now the outcome of this particular lecture is that here the outcome of this particular lecture is to improve the speed of an input reading for an lexical analyzer. How to improve the lexical analyzer input reading speed. I hope you are clear with this input buffering topic. Take care, stay safe.